following 4 Aces production is for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is highly advised.
You're listening to the Cheap Pop Pop. Yo, what's up, y'all? What's up? Sorry about that. That's something you'll hear a little bit later. I am K Double, and we are here to bring you the Cheap Pop Podcast with my special guest host for this week, while Alpha's continuing to get his technical issues under control. We have the one and only Saint, and we may be joined later by another former West Coast Bias personality and friend of the show, Scotty P. What it is, Saint, what it is.
What's good, planet Earth, man? What's the good word, man?
Not much at all, man. We out here just living that life one day at a time, trying to make it through all this craziness right now. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know, the one thing I can say I'm kind of glad about is that despite all this craziness going on, COVID and statues and all the rest of the shit going on right now, pro wrestling has remained the same shit show it's always been. Gotta love it. God bless it. Pro wrestling has been amazing. One of the hottest topics.
I'm still, I'm digging it and all, but it's still kind of hard when, there's no fans in the audience.
Yeah.
And, you do pay attention to the action and so forth, but that's why I have to, every once in a while, I just have to bust out the 2K20, dude.
Oh, yeah. I was playing it last night.
Yeah.
For sure. I was playing last night, through more of my... I still can, for those of you who have not played, when you play 2K20 on the Xbox, I haven't gotten through to my player. I haven't even started up my player on the PlayStation version. But when you play it on the Xbox, you play through to NXT, and when you get to NXT, you immediately start a feud with Velveteen Dream. And I'm in this match where only way to win the match is by hitting the other person's finisher. And so, it's quite a difficult match, but yeah, it's pretty cool. But I like the game overall. I say can't wait to get into some online shit with you once I create my player on and post some stuff up.
Yeah, it's on. It's straight on.
But all right, so night one of the Great American Bash saw several great matches. New number one contender was named for the NXT Women's title, and that is Tegan Knox. That opened the show. They kind of bookended it with women's matches, starting out with that match and then ending with the Io Shirai beating Sasha Banks with the help of Asuka, who just happens to be Sasha Banks' opponent at next week's Extreme Rules pay-per-view.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
yeah, that should be nice.
And they had some great matches in between. There is something that I did notice at a Fyter Fest, or at a not Fyter Fest, but Great American Bash, that I had to speak on. Damian Priest, love the guy's look, love the guy as a personality, but he has no charisma. Like even the Undertaker in his deadpan delivery of his promos had personality. You know what I'm saying? Like Damian Priest just, and I'm not trying to knock him because in ring the guy's great, and physically he's a fucking specimen. I think he's like 6'7", like 290, like pure muscle. Like the dude's a fucking specimen, and he can go in the ring for the most part. He's still a little green, but he can go in the ring for the most part. I just saw him cut this promo, and I'm just like, dude, where was the emotion? Did you leave the emotion commotion at home? Because like there was definitely none in that promo.
And nothing sucks more than a dry promo, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing sucks more than that. And we all know this. Why? Watching 20 years of wrestling almost uninterrupted, man, and just you know, seeing all these great promos cut. But though, I'm gonna tell you though, man, I'm really starting to really grow with NXT is really starting to grow on me,
Yeah.
and it's really standing out on its own.
Yep.
You know, even with Raw and SmackDown. I mean, NXT is just involved in almost everything, but still involved in its own type of universe. You know what I mean?
Yep. No, it
So
is.
that's big.
Go ahead.
I think I was just gonna say that and that's big. The I don't know what these guys were thinking when they decided to do this, but to me that it started off to me like that's college football, and then when you get to the WWE, when you get into the regular, when you step up on the other two brands, that's
The NFL.
that's the NFL.
Yeah.
You got the NFC and the AFC,
Yep.
but NXT has become the well, fuck you. We're in the NFL too. Let somebody else be the college group, and I mean seriously.
No,
And look at the
no, big
great
time.
talent that's over there.
Yep.
I love when
Hello.
that dude
Yeah.
went up against Brock Lesnar
Oh, and Keith
during
Lee.
the Royal Rumble. Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
So, like, well, he faces off in a match that I personally think he will win against Adam Cole next week for the NXT for in a winner take all match for the NXT and the North American Championship.
Yeah,
So,
he'll get it, but that's still going to be one hell of a match, though.
yes, it is.
That's
Okay.
that's I believe it will be brutal. I believe that it will. Yeah, it's just going to be brutal.
Yeah,
Let's just face it.
100%, man.
Let's just face it.
Now, to
You
me,
know,
what
a
was
brutal
one
match is a good one.
what was one of the worst matches of the night of the day or of the night, so to speak, was. Let me get back to this. Hold on. It was. Where is it? Here it is. Rhea Ripley taking on Aaliyah and Robert Stone in a handicap match. That if Rhea Ripley loses, she has to join the Stone management thing. And this guy, just this annoying little guy who's supposed to be playing like this sports manager uh, person,
Hmm.
and yeah, and he's trying to recruit women to these women to his thing, and he's already got this girl Leah, and I forgot who the other something Green is the other girl, and now he's trying to recruit Rhea Ripley, and they ain't having it. And Rhea Ripley ended up getting them. You know her finisher where she lifts them up and bends their
Yeah.
back, the submission. She ended up hitting that, but the prism trap is what it's called. She ended up hitting them both with that, and yeah, it was all right. It was a pretty good movie. It was a pretty good match, but like still by far worst match of the night. So, best match of the night to me, as far as singles matches, actually as good as the main event was, went to Oni Lorcan and Timothy Thatcher. If you know anything about who these two guys are, they're fucking brutes, dude. They're amazing fucking brutes, and they gave a wrestling fucking clinic.
Yeah, I've seen them in action just a little bit. Like I said, NXT, I'm really, like I said, really getting into it now because of all the talent that has, like,
Yeah,
erupted matches or, like Bianca Belair, she's become one of my favorites.
she's a straight up beast. Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
See, Bianca Belair is what Big Swole from AEW could be if Big Swole was had a little bit more personality. Like, because they both have very similar body types. Um, but yeah, like overall, I thought the first night was pretty good. I was quite impressed with it. I watched it all this morning. I watched AEW's Basically the reason why we're getting a two night event, Great American Bash on NXT is because AEW is running their yearly Fyter Fest pay per view on TNT as usual. Fyter Fest was all right. It wasn't anything super special about it. It left me again asking why people dog WWE so damn much when AEW does a lot of the same shit. Like, everybody's talking about Fyter Fest, right? And how great AEW was. And everybody's taking shots at WWE, talking about they don't run a sloppy shop. But yet everybody in the crowd is standing within 2 feet of each other. They laying all up on each other. They standing near each other. The wrestlers are going into the crowd. Nobody's wearing a mask. But yet they want to claim they don't run a sloppy shop. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah. So hold on. All right. So you got Jurassic Express, which is Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt, defeated MJF and Wardlow. It was a pretty decent match. MJF played the asshole like he normally should. Wardlow played the big goof, which I think he's better than that. And Jungle Boy, of course, the good guys get the win. The current AEW Women's Champion Hikaru Shida took on Penelope Ford, which I can honestly say was one of the best women's matches in AEW history. Like, it was damn good, and it blew my mind how well Penelope Ford, how well she performed in that match. Next, and here's where I'm going to bring up what our next topic is going to be. Actually, beyond the actual matches, I'm just going to get even the overview. Cody, with Arn Anderson, defeated Jake Hager in a singles match for the AEW TNT Championship. Now, I say that's the one that's going to kick off our talk here, is because if you noticed, I only called him by the one name.
Cody, yeah.
Do you understand why that is?
That's what it is. Well, I do, because, for some reason, I know he got his name back from what I guess that's what I read.
Okay.
Or I know it has something to do with WWE.
Here's the deal.
Holding the name.
Yeah.
Or something to that degree.
So,
yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Cody Rhodes' last name is not really Rhodes. He took that name to honor his father, whose real last name wasn't Rhodes. The whole entire family, Dustin, Cody, Dusty, their last name is Runnels. Their actual last name. Okay, Cody Runnels. Not Rhodes.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the deal. For some random reason, after never having renewed it since Cody last left WWE, Vincent Petty King himself, McMahon, decided that they were going to renew their trademark on the last name Rhodes. I don't know if this had anything to do with him being mad at Cody, with AEW, or anything like that. I can't speak to that. But I just know Vince McMahon is one petty motherfucker, and I wouldn't put it past him to have done this just for the hell of it. Not even really thinking that it's going to do anything other than just slightly annoy.
I mean, is he
Cody.
Really that petty? Is he really that petty, though?
We're talking about Vince.
I believe he is.
Yep.
Henceforth, the Montreal school, like the Montreal screw job was a perfect example. But now, I just read this report recently that Bret Hart kind of walked it back. Like, man, you should have stuck to your guns, son.
Yeah.
Like, if I had been nicer or something like that, I'm like, man, what the hell is wrong with you, dude? You got screwed. But that's okay. Bret screwed Bret.
Oh, man. Yeah, Bret did screw Bret. Should have stayed his ass with WWE. No, I'm messing with you. All right, and then the next match after the TNT Championship match was we had Street Profit wannabes. Oh no, I'm sorry. I mean Private Party with Matt Hardy take on the inner circle of tag team of Santana and Ortiz, formerly known as LAX. Um,
Okay.
it was a great match. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. It was a great match, back and forth. Private Party ended up getting the win because they're trying to push Private Party now. Hence why they put Matt Hardy with them as a manager, and they're starting to win matches. Okay, that was a decent match, and then you close the entire thing with Kenny Omega and Adam Page, the tag team champions without a name. Uh, to beat best friends Chuck Taylor and Trent for the AEW Tag Team Championship, which is a good match, great match, loved it. But at the end of the day, ultimately, Fighter Fest just underwhelmed to me. And then there was Taz's promo, where he came out and just talked a bunch of shit, and it was just like, dude, you're like a low rent Paul Heyman. Like Taz, I love you to death,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. Like, dude, look. I was watching. I had started watching. I think it was AEW Dark, and I think it was done last week. And I sat and I looked at Taz, and I was like, dude, you are the former shadow of the former shadow of the former shadow of your commentating days from the WWE. Like, dude, you I literally almost had to turn it off. I just put him on mute
Yeah,
and just, watched a couple of matches, man. Like, geez.
like Taz is just man. And don't get me wrong, I love me some Taz, but he was better when he was standing there looking mean and suplex and being a suplex machine. Like Taz, you're not a talking manager type. I get it. You were great on commentary, really because you had Michael Cole to work with. And I hate to say this, but Michael Cole elevated a lot of commentators because he was so annoying that the other guys kind of had to be good to make it worth listening to. Like seriously, because don't get me wrong, I like Michael Cole now, but back in the day when Michael Cole was first coming up, Michael Cole was annoying as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And so you put Michael Cole next to Taz, and now Taz can be the cool guy like JBL is that basically tells Michael Cole to shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. And
Yeah,
calms him down
and
when he gets overexcited.
yeah, and the one thing, in terms of commentating, Michael Cole should forever remain a babyface because he sucked as a heel commentator,
Yeah,
dude.
he did.
Like,
When
I
during
mean,
the
like,
old GM
dude,
phase,
to me, that was, to me, that was the darkest, one of the dark chapters in WWE that should never, ever, ever in this life be reopened.
yeah.
That should disappear like the old DC, multiverse, not the new one, but the old one. It should be folded in that fabric. It never happened.
No shit. All right, man.
That shit
So
never happened.
we're gonna go ahead and move ourselves through this wrestling thing and get tonight too. And you can just give me your thoughts on what you think this upcoming list of matches, how good this may be. So next
Okay.
week you got Chris Jericho versus what they're labeling, ironically, the Hardcore King, Orange Cassidy. I'm sorry, I'm not into this dude's gimmick. Like, I'm over the whole, oh my god, he's the most hardcore dude ever. I'm like, shut the fuck up, just stop.
Okay.
Lance Archer
Okay.
destroying Joey Janela. Hold on, I'm gonna get through the whole thing. Nyla Rose gonna beat down on somebody. It says to be announced. Colt Cabana and the Dark Order take on SoCal Uncensored. You know who that is. Daniels,
Yeah.
Frankie Kazarian, Scorpion Sky.
Yeah.
FTR and the Young Bucks, which is basically the Revival and the Young Bucks, take on the Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Brothers. And I assume Pac will probably be at ringside. And then because Dean Ambrose, a.k.a. John Moxley, might have possibly had COVID, well, I say he will not be facing Brian Cage for the AEW Championship as originally scheduled on night 2. He will be facing him next week in the Fight for the Fallen. They're basically their tribute to the troops show.
Okay.
He'll be facing him then. So instead, we got Kenny Omega and Adam Page taking on the wannabe Street Profits. Sorry, man. I mean Private Party with Matt Hardy for the AEW Tag Team Championships. So what are your thoughts on that card, sir?
Ooh, okay, hold on. Okay, because Private Party. Oh my God, dude. Wannabe Street Profits. Okay, they're not even. Dude, I mean, you can't even put them two in the same sentence. You know, slap yourself, dude. Slap yourself with a tire iron. Okay, imitation. They're not even the imitation of an imitation.
Yeah.
Okay, but still got a little bit of skill.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, let's not sleep. Let's not sleep on them. Okay, let's not do that. But to be honest, I think that anything that Matt Hardy is attached to is a surefire win. And again,
Yeah.
I don't know. On that one, I really can't call that.
For sure.
I can't call that one.
Okay.
But I will definitely be watching that one. Well, what about you, sir?
I don't know, man. Like I look at that second night, and I think that it's going to be one that's going to be headlined by an amazing match. Because don't get me wrong, Private Party can put on a match and a half. They can. They truly can. But here's the deal. They're not ready for a world championship run yet. They're just not. Okay, the same way that Jake Hager evidently. Oh, and that's another thing. Stop pumping up Jake Hager's fucking 4-0 MMA record. The dude's 4-0 against a bunch of fucking nobodies at Bellator. He's not Brock Lesnar. He didn't come in and 3 matches in win the heavyweight championship of Bellator, dude. Like, stop touting this dude's MMA career like it's something fucking special. I'm not saying I could do it, but come on.
Well, no. But I mean, come on. Well, Bellator. I mean, hey. They're decent. Yeah, right. Okay. We're just kidding.
Exactly.
You're right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Exactly.
I mean, their games are fine, but I mean, I don't really see them as a serious contender. So when you pump somebody's 4-0 record and they really didn't match up against anybody of, say, I guess Brock Lesnar, as you mentioned, or or even Tito Ortiz, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And that guy's been retired for years. So yeah, a 4-0 record with a second. I call him second rate because to me Bellator is second rate.
Yeah. To go along with AEW being second rate to WWE. Dude, bro, you should have heard what I heard today. Some AEW dude was like, "Yeah, dude, nobody from New Japan and the Indies even wants to fuck with WWE anymore." I'm like, "Who the fuck you been talking to, dog?" I'm like, "You do understand that it is still the like dream of almost every independent person out there to go to WWE." Like, everybody knows that it doesn't matter where else you go. When you're ready to go to the big leagues, WWE is where you go. Because I made a comment in this post about Tessa Blanchard saying, well, if she wants to be a big fish in a small pond, she should go to AEW. If she wants global recognition, she should go to WWE. And the dude's like, AEW has global recognition. They're working with New Japan, bro. That's one place. WWE is literally working with the largest promotions worldwide. The largest promotion in Saudi Arabia, the largest promotion in Japan, or one of the largest promotions in Japan, short of New Japan. They're working with, what I'm saying? Like, they're working with so many different places. They're working on multiple places out in Europe. Like, come on now, man. Like, get it straight. Oh, man.
Well, I mean, that's the way it's been. WWE has always been synonymous on a worldwide level as far as I'm concerned since the '80s when they were still WWF,
Yeah.
and it was it's attributed to that era to where the Hulkster, that's just where wrestling grew, but
Yeah.
not just in the WWE, not just in the WWE or WWF at that time, but in other smaller promotions. So wrestling became a big thing, and WWF at that time was contributed to that. So anybody that even tries to compete with WWE, as far as I'm concerned, will always be considered second rate. But now you have a first rate company with a second rate company, and the second rate company that is now the third rate company traveling along behind them. And we all know we're talking about Daniel. So,
uh,
yeah,
uh,
you know, I'm
well,
sorry, dude. I can't, you know, I gave Impact Wrestling their funeral pyre a long time ago, dude.
uh,
Real
and here,
spill, man.
and here's the whole thing with it. I do love myself some some old school WCW, so on and so forth. But there's a reason why a lot of these companies have built up and have fallen before the might that is WWE. And it's not because WWE is always better. It's just because they've entrenched themselves in the business so bad that you're not getting rid of them. Short of uprooting the
Yeah.
entire business, you're not getting rid of them. Okay, so on the second night, there's only three matches uh, uh, so far set up. And what we're going to discuss next is the fact that somebody got in trouble because they already taped night two of the Great American Bash. And somebody leaked the results, or some of the results. You got
Uh oh.
one of the matches that's supposed to take place next week is Breezango. Yes, they're still wrestling. Tyler Breeze and Fandango.
Yeah.
And Drake Maverick taking on El Legado del Fantasma, which is Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wild, and Raul Mendoza. Basically, the El Legado del Fantasma reminds me of Alberto Del Rio. Like, what if they give him Alberto Del Rio an actual a Mexican stable? Then there's Mia Yim taking on Candice LeRae in a street fight,
Okay.
and then the moment that makes me throw my hands in the air so that I may bask in his glory. It has been leaked that yes, at least initially, there's rumors as to, and this is what we'll talk about here in a minute, as to
Okay.
what may end up actually being shown on television. But as of this moment, we are 100% sure that Keith Lee wins the winner take all match at NXT. Whatchamacallit, you heard it here first. Sorry, guys. Check on Wikipedia and the dirt sheets. You'd have known already. But Keith Lee actually wins and becomes double champion. Now, the controversy lies that evidently, according to the people at WWE, and this may have been them just trying to backtrack and cover their tracks after it got leaked, they said that they taped multiple endings to that match. So we don't know which one is
Boo.
going to be shown. And there's talk that
Boo.
one of the endings may be Otis coming out and cashing in his money in the bank to win the NXT championship from Keith Lee.
Boo.
Yeah, I hope they just let Keith Lee win it and stand and have Adam Cole go on to the main roster
Okay.
so we may all
Once
bask in his
again,
glory.
once again, that part you just mentioned needs to be folded into the fabric of the non-existing DC universe, the multiverse, because, bro, that would totally fucking suck.
What?
He, for Otis to come out and
And cash in.
and to cash in.
Yeah.
I would be pissed.
Yeah, I want us to bask in the Keith Lee era. Give him a moment to hold on to something that nobody else has ever done. Like, give him that moment because he deserves it. So,
Exactly.
um, and I normally don't approve of dual champions, but there seems to be a lot of that going around when you got Bailey as a dual champ. With whatchamacallit, if they end up having Sasha Banks beat beat Asuka next week at Extreme Rules, they would it would be literally. You do realize that would be the female power trip, right? Instead of 2-man power trip, it'd be the 2-women power trip.
Yeah.
Just like Stone Cold and Triple H back in the day, except you got Bayley and Sasha Banks. That would be kind of raw, dude. That would be kind of raw. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it would be kind of raw. Oh, man. Oh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw.
Baby, I like it raw.
So one thing that I have to say right quick is that I'm sorry, I have to relabel some people. Everybody keeps trying to tell me that that flipping MJF is the best heel in the business today, and I'm just not buying it. I'm sorry. Right now, the best heel in the business is Randy Orton.
Yes.
If you've watched his work on Monday nights with the Big Show and friggin' and Edge and with Christian, the top heel, and he's doing it without having to be an over the top asshole.
No, it just comes natural for him.
It does. It does.
I mean, I think back, and and I was on YouTube the other day, and I think back to the match that I think it was WrestleMania, the one back in 2003, when it was still Evolution with Batista, Randy Orton, and Ric Flair, and they were beating up on Mick Foley in the ring, and it brought back the Rocket Sock Connection, and it's like, naturally, you want to hate Randy Orton, but you got to respect his game, because he goes over well, and he's also always gone over well. I never really liked him as a babyface.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like,
well, it depends on
when,
who
as long as he's a
bad guys he's going up against is. Because like when he was the babyface going up against the Corporation, when him and Seth Rollins had that feud, that was pretty savage. And I can't deny it led to the sickest move I've ever seen done live in my life.
Oh, when he tried to do the
stomp and Randy Orton launched his ass only to catch him in the RKO. Still the sickest thing I've ever seen live.
That was a because we were all sitting up there going, "Holy shit!"
Yep. Yeah.
Everybody dropped the popcorn.
So like
dropped everything else and looked like what?
Well, that happened in Santa Clara. Man, like that was just beautiful. So that's what I'm saying. Like even when it depends on who he's going up against and how evil they are, whether or not Randy Orton, because if he can be the Stone Cold babyface, the anti-hero babyface, he fits that role well. But if he has to be the nice guy babyface, nah, that just doesn't fit. You just don't buy Randy Orton as a nice guy. But you can buy Randy Orton as the bad guy loner who was reluctantly pushed into helping out the good guys.
Exactly.
So, but all right. So we're going to take our first set of commercial breaks right now, podcast promo break. And we'll be back after that to talk a little comic books. We're going to talk a little X-Men. We're going to talk a little Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse. We're going to talk a little Final Fantasy VII and some other things right here on the Cheap Pop Podcast. So hope y'all keep enjoying listening in. We'll be back shortly. You're listening to the Cheap Pop Podcast right here on the 4Aces Presents Radio Network. Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and wherever you may find your favorite podcasts.
Hey listener, Dutch here from Voice from the Underground, the podcast. My co-host and I want to invite you to check out our little corner of the podcast verse. At Voice from the Underground, we talk about all the crazy happening around us and try to make a little bit of sense out of the nonsense with little to no results. If the idea of hearing three semi-intelligent, outspoken nerds talk about politics, social issues, current events, sports, movies, pretty much anything that we decide to talk about because, well, it's our show, appeals to you, grab your shovel and come on down to the underground, and then consult a qualified psychotherapist. Find us wherever you get your podcasts, just not where you buy your weed.
Voice from the underground.
So, what's up? Steve Fingerstyles here, the host of the podcast, spelled DA, of course. Tune in each and every week to hear what pisses me off, what angers me, what I make fun of, and of course, my crazy rants. I also have incompetent co-hosts, cool guests, and a silent producer that sucks. So what more do you need from a podcast? You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, and the Pod Bros Network. Peace.
From the galactic depths of the comic book universe comes the ghosts of the stratosphere, ready to galvanize and energize your mind with the latest of comic book news and reviews. And why are you stopping me? Yes, that's much better. Hi, this is Andy Larson for Ghosts of the Stratosphere. Join me every week along with my co-hosts Rob Stewart and Chad Smith, as well as a cavalcade of fantastic comic book guests, as we dish out heaping helpings of the greatest and latest of comic book news and reviews. New shows posted every Tuesday with bonus shows every first Friday of the month. You can find us on iTunes and Stitcher under Ghosts of the Stratosphere, as well as on our website, www.gotstratosphere.com. Hope to see you soon, folks.
All right, and we're back. Yeah, we're just talking about what we're going to be adding to our First Gen Inc. Facebook page that y'all are more than welcome, you lovely listeners, to go join. We welcome all gamers that love to game, but we post a lot of videos about just various things. So, all things video games. Saint, you want to tell them a little bit more?
Well, yeah. Actually, it's called First Gen Xers, and what it basically is, it's for the gamer that wants to come in and game, and not hear any extra cussing or extra shenanigans. You're in there to game, get the missions done, without any extra tomfoolery, and it's starting to build, and, we're on Facebook, and, it's all platforms, but it's not just current generations. It's also, the other generations going all the way back as far as who knows. You know what I'm saying? If you love the game and you're with it, just, hit us up. First Gen Xers on Facebook.
Yep.
And we're rocking, man. We're rocking.
For sure. So yeah, no, don't always like to not miss a chance to plug the show when I get an opportunity. But anyway, so now we're back here. First thing we're going to start off with is, okay, bro, I know you heard about this. Did you hear about Haley? Oh God, I think his name's Haley Atwell, the guy who played Ralph Dibny on DC's The Flash.
You mean Hartley Sawyer?
Sorry.
Hartley Sawyer.
Yeah, unfortunately, he will no longer. I'm wondering what I bring this up because this is kind of old news that he was fired. It kind of happened towards the beginning of the pandemic, but I'm wondering, like, how are they going to write him out? Like, because they kind of cut this season short. Like, is all of a sudden next season, like, Dibny's just not going to be there, and they're just going to be like, yeah, Dibny ran off on some mission, and he's just not here anymore.
Well, no, him and Sue will be on the run.
Okay.
They'll be on the run. So it's like, that's how they can pretty much close that one out. Because remember, she was being accused of murder.
Right.
When, in that very last episode. So yeah, I honestly believe that's what's gonna happen.
Okay, for sure. Well, they said that the Flash, Supergirl, a lot of them may be starting to shoot their next season's episodes starting in August. So they were saying outright that did you hear about next year's crossover?
No, I have not. Now, what I
Uh,
have heard is
well, I was just mentioning the fact that they were saying that next year's crossover most likely is only going to include Batwoman and the Lois and Clark show. It's not going to
okay.
include any of the other shows. Not Supergirl, not Flash, not Black Lightning, none of them. Not Legends, none of them. The crossover is only going to be those two shows this year. Now, of course, the ripple effects will probably be felt throughout all the shows because that's normally the way the crossover works. And a lot of the other guys may now. Don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean that that the characters aren't going to be a part of the crossover. It's just that they're not going to have individual episodes of their show for the crossover this year.
Okay.
Like Supergirl and everybody will show up, but they'll just all be making special guest appearances on Batwoman and Lois and Clark.
Okay.
So
That's okay. I can see that.
yeah, but it's getting interesting. It's getting interesting. But what were you going to bring up? Sorry, Bob, I didn't mean to cut you off like that.
Well, no. I was no. I was just going to say that from what I'm understanding, and it may be just rumor, but we'll have to get through the first season. But it's supposed to be rumored that Flash would be crossover with Stargirl. Now
Nice.
that I would like to see.
And it makes the most sense because if you think about it, Flash was the first one to cross over with Supergirl when she was on a completely different Earth. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense for him to be the conduit for Stargirl to the Arrowverse as well. You know, I figured it was either going to be him or it was going to be Legends. Because the Legends had already dealt with Justice Society of America.
True.
You know, and what's funny is that so this must be a different iteration of the JSA, right?
Well,
Because there was no,
no,
Starman.
actually.
There was no Starman when Legends covered the JSA.
Okay, well, see here's the thing. Here's the thing. You got to remember, this is a new multiverse that was recreated. Now, what they did do though, because see, originally Starman was the Star Spangled Kid.
Okay.
Okay, in the Justice Society originally, because and he didn't wield the cosmic rod back then. Starman did.
Sorry. Well,
So
okay.
they would have to tie it up on how he ended up getting the cosmic rod in the show, because the rest of the members, Dr. Midnight, Johnny Thunder,
Were they all there when Legends did JSA?
no, the only ones that was, well, see, like I said, that was a different version.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at. Is like that's what I was trying to wonder. Is this
you
like
didn't
the
see
Justice
Commander
League?
Steel.
Yeah.
You didn't see Commander Steel. You didn't see you didn't really see Wildcat. And Obsidian was not a member of the Justice Society. He was actually a member of Infinity Incorporated,
Okay.
who were the actually children. They were the children of the original Justice Society.
Okay.
So, their version could have, it was a little off. Not even Vixen. Even though, Vixen was actually a part of the Justice League, not the Justice Society.
Right. That's what I thought. Like,
Yeah.
but okay. Well, no. Like, it was just confusing to me because, like, when I was originally, I told you I've been catching up on Stargirl. I've watched all but the most recent episode, part 1 of the finale, the season finale. And first and foremost, they're kind of making it kind of.
No. That's not the season finale, not yet.
Oh, it's not, or it must be mid-season finale then.
I think it's mid, but I'll find out because I'm gonna watch it. I'm actually gonna watch it tomorrow. But yeah,
Okay.
part 2 is tomorrow.
But okay, so what I was watching, is that's where I started asking questions. I was like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be Justice Society. I was like, we already covered Justice Society on Legends, and I was like, I don't remember there being a Starman. I don't remember there being a Dr. Midnight. I'm like, I don't remember. I was like, these are characters that I would have remembered just based off of their powers, like Hourman. Like, these are people I would have remembered. So I was like, this has got to be like some kind of alternate universe version of the JSA, it's not the same JSA that interacted with the Legends. You know, and that's
yeah, and that's true, because there was a JSA on. I think there was a JSA on Earth 1, but it might have been Earth 2. Who knows? But
yeah.
Who's to say?
But overall, a couple of things I wanted to point out about Stargirl that I did like was I liked how they're building each character. I like how they're introducing you to each character, but I also like the kids. But the only thing I would say negative is that it's kind of becoming obvious that basically where we're going to end this season is going to be, and this is just me predicting. This is not anything that I know. I don't have any insider information, nothing like that. I think what we're going to see is you're going to see the new JSA, these kids that they just put together in like 2 episodes ago. By the end of this season, they're going to take out all of the adult members of the Injustice Society of America. But what's going to rise in its place for season 2 is going to be all their kids taking their places. And if you look at how they're developing the characters, that's pretty much exactly what they're doing. Like the original Injustice Society of America is the main villain for this season. But you're going to have this brand new Injustice Society that's made up of all the kids of all of them. And I think they're already lending towards that when I was reading about this the Cindy girl in this week's episode, because she's or in this most recent episode, because she's the daughter of the main dude of the Injustice Society. You know, and she turns out to be So I'm like, so I can already see that they're heading that way. But I like the way that they're developing, and like I texted you a couple of days ago, I love the Green Lantern reference. It was so fucking subtle and didn't really beat you over the head at all. And
that's the thing. That was, and for those out there that don't quite understand that, okay, that was the Green Lantern, Alan Scott. Okay. And that particular Green Lantern had a red costume with a cape. Okay. And his ring was susceptible to anything but wood.
Okay.
It has no effect on wood.
You mean it was viable against anything but wood. Okay. So it was just okay. Spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen like 2 episodes ago of Stargirl. But there's a conversation between Luke Wilson and the main character. They go to play Stargirl, and he has found where she hid all the different things that help her find the other new members of the JSA. And he has them all lined up, and she's like, "Oh, you went through my bag?" And he's like, "Yeah." And you know what? I don't want you messing around with this type of dangerous stuff. That lantern could have killed you. And she's like, "Really? What does it do?" And he kind of looks around and goes, well, nothing really without the ring, but it could have killed you. And I was like, that was such a subtle nod to the Green Lantern. It wasn't even funny. Like, it was just like, I was just like, that's great, guys. That was a great way to add that in there without, like I said, without making it obvious. Because they're not going to bring a Green Lantern into Stargirl. Sorry. You're just not going to see it.
No. Actually, with this one, they probably could get away with it because Green Lantern, because, like I said, this Green Lantern is not Hal Jordan. His name is Alan Scott. Okay. Like I said, he had a cape. His costume was red. But I thought they were talking about doing Diggle as the Green Lantern in the Arrow. Yeah, he's the Green Lantern. Well, here, check this out. How about this? What it is, there's Green Lantern, and then there's the Green Lantern Corps. Right. The Green Lantern Corps is Hal Jordan, John Stewart, I cannot remember, Guy Gardner. Okay, and they wear the green costumes, the green energy with the ring, the power of will or willpower, and these are the Green Lanterns that are supposed to have no fear. Okay. And their weakness is the color, of course, the color yellow, which is fear. Right. With the Green Lantern that would be part of the Justice Society, back in the 40s, man named Alan Scott, this particular Green Lantern is magical. Okay. It's not like the power of will with, I mean, he still has to use willpower to do the things that he's supposed to do. Yeah. But this particular ring, like I said, wood is its weakness. If you throw a toothpick at that motherfucker, it's done. That's how bad that is. So yeah, and that's the Green Lantern. But I'm gonna tell you one other thing.
Hold on 1 second. I just want to I want to get this joke in there while it's still relevant to what you're saying. There was a joke on the Big Bang Theory where Raj is asking about the different Green Lanterns, and he's talking about how one Green Lantern, he was talking about the Green Lantern, is susceptible to the color yellow, right? And then the other one is susceptible to wood, right? He goes, great. So I can kill them both with a number 2 pencil. I was just like, damn, that's fucked up, Raj. But anyway, sorry, I just wanted to get that in there while it was still relevant to what you were saying. Go ahead.
That's actually kind of funny. But what I was going to say is that they're okay, because like they've already introduced Our Man.
Yeah.
They've introduced Beth Chapel, which is actually, I mean, they're actually creating, these are characters that are actually part of the DC universe, except, well, Beth Chapel is actually, as an adult, she's a doctor.
Okay.
But, and she's blind also.
Okay.
She goes blind, but
is she the new Dr. Midnight?
She was the new Dr. Midnight, but this Beth Chapel is a teenager and wearing the old Dr. Midnight's
glasses.
Old Dr. Midnight's glasses and costume, and I hope if they do the training, she gets the blackout bombs, because that'll be real nice.
Hell yeah!
But these characters, but they're not done though, because they got to bring in Jakeem.
Okay, so there's still more to the team.
Oh, Jakeem Thunder. Oh. Do you remember the episode? Where Stripes' son, or his son comes in and says, can I bring my friend Jakeem over for dinner?
Yeah.
Jakeem is the character that will get the pen.
Okay.
You know that pink pen?
Yeah.
That they keep referencing?
Yeah.
Then there is the magical thunderbolt that belonged to Johnny Thunder.
Okay.
Because if you look at that episode, you hear a little inside the pen. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's not done.
All right. Well, we'll have to see how they continue to develop. Like I said, so far I like it. Sportster and what was her name? And
Sportsmaster.
Sportsmaster
and Tigress.
Yeah, we're badass. We're pretty friggin' badass.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
They were one of the lethal teams, duos in the Injustice Society in the comic books. Okay. So, because these were actually enemies of the Justice Society. What I want to know, though, is that are they going to bring a speedster into the fray?
Maybe
because the Justice Society would not be good without a speedster.
Maybe
because the
Wally
original
West.
Flash was part of. Because the original Flash was with the helmet was part of the Justice Society. No, Jay Garrick.
Yeah.
Jay Garrick.
So maybe we get to see another Jay Garrick. Maybe not the same guy that played him on the original Flash. Maybe we get to see a different Jay Garrick. Maybe they use the guy that played the young Jay Garrick that was in Zoom. That became Zoom.
Well, I was going to say no. I wouldn't even think that. What I would be thinking is that they would possibly bring in Max Mercury, and he was another speedster from the 40s era. Him, either her or maybe Johnny Quick.
Yeah.
Or Joni Quick.
Yeah.
Who was in the Flash?
Yeah. From Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse Quick.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna move along, but stick with DC. I actually heard that Warner Brothers is stopping production on Birds of Prey 2, the sequel to the Birds of Prey movie that came out earlier this year. I still have not seen that movie. Really,
I need
bro?
to be ashamed of myself.
Yes, because it was actually one of the better DC Universe movies. Well done. Like, only thing, like I said, my only clip to it was that they made us wait so long to hear the canary cry. Like you really don't get a canary cry till damn near the end of the movie. Don't get me wrong, Black Canary still comes off as a badass in the movie, but you don't get a canary cry till damn near the end of the movie. And the thing that gets me even worse about it is that when she finally does do the canary cry, it wipes her out completely. Like, it takes all of her energy to hit the canary cry. And I'm like, wait a minute. You take that in contrast to the Arrowverse canaries, who are like every 5 seconds, blah, 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 screaming at people. I'm like, that's just interesting to me.
That kind of hurts.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
But overall, it was a good movie. I'm not going to take anything away from it. Now, switching gears, though, to some good news from Marvel. Marvel is releasing, I think, all but 4 of the original X-Men series movies on Disney Plus throughout this summer. They're doing the Friday night movie night, and I think they said Age of Apocalypse, Days of Future Past. I think they said X-Men 3, Last Stand, and X-Men 2 are all going to be debuting throughout this summer. It's
okay, that's good, because then that means I can watch the whole series except that last tragedy movie. That last one was, but dude, you know, as a fan, and I'm gonna tell you, and you know, shout out to those who read X-Men in the '80s.
Yeah.
This Dark Phoenix movie was a tragedy.
Yeah, it was.
No, I mean, like a real.
No, I agree.
Tragedy. That was not the way for the X-Men series. And I mean, that was a great series. You know, James McAvoy playing Professor X. You know, as a young Professor X, he did a fucking fantastic job. Yep. But what sucks was that movie. I was so hurt because the Dark Phoenix saga, man, was like, that was for back in the day, that was the coup de grace of X-Men series, because that is where Jean Grey bit the dust and Cyclops just lost it. Like, yeah. he just like, but that was a few issues before they introduced Kitty Pryde. So when they killed off Jean Grey, man, that was like, it sucked.
Yeah.
It fucking sucked. But Cyclops split and Storm became the leader of the X-Men. Good night.
No, man. Okay, so here's something that you just transferred me into an off subject thing as well. Man.
Yeah.
Look, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I threw a goddamn fit when I heard that rumor about supposedly Beyonce was signing on to play Storm in the next X-Men movie. Because, man, come on, y'all fucked this shit up once with Halle Berry. Y'all would be better off choosing some unknown African actress to play Storm. You truly would. The same way that with Black Panther, they didn't really use a lot of big name actors outside of Chadwick Boseman. You know what I'm saying? Most of it were people that you may have seen in a movie or two but hadn't really heard of, but this was kind of like their breakout movie. They would be better served for the new X-Men movie to do something like that with Storm. Because I swear to God, if you go with some big name black actress just cause, I'm going to drive to Hollywood and slap somebody. Because it just ain't right. Y'all fucked it up the first time with fucking Storm, man. Don't fuck this shit up with Halle Berry. Don't fuck this shit up again.
Okay, let's get this. Let's fix a couple of things. Okay. Yes, Halle Berry was not my first choice, but
she wasn't my 15th choice.
I did, but I did not like her in the original X-Men movie
Fake ass Jamaican accent.
because that, she didn't fly, number one,
Yeah.
in that one much. And then what really sucked was the same, was that terrible riddle she asked the toad. Do you know what happens to a toad that gets struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything else. What the fuck was that?
Exactly.
I said, are you serious? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I was pissed. And I was like, they should never, ever let her say stuff like that again.
Exactly.
That was a career killer to me.
Ugh.
But she did grow on me in the third movie.
Nah, she ain't growing shit.
No, because and I'm gonna tell you why.
All right.
Because the one thing I got to give it to Storm. The one thing Storm did do, when it came to how Logan was acting, and trying to be a jackass and all that kind of stuff, she gave zero fucks, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you don't care about nobody but yourself, you bastard. If she was allowed to say such things, yeah, and I respected it.
And once again, I can feel where you're coming from. For me, it was a problem because of the fact that, like I said, when she did the Jamaican accent shit first, and then I just was never a fan. Not when it could have went to my sister, who so beautifully portrayed the Queen Mother of Africa in Black Panther. It could have and should have went to her, and it would have been beautiful. It could have or should have went to Viola Davis, and it would have been beautiful. Anybody but Halle Berry. It ain't got nothing to do with her being light skinned. It has to do with the fact that to play Storm, you got to have a powerful voice with that bass, with that Black Mother bass in it. And Halle Berry's ass just ain't got that bass. Even when she tried to do the Storm deep voice, it just didn't have that resonance to it. So give me a strong voice, deep voice African woman playing Storm in the next X-Men movie.
Okay. I will give you that.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's all I'm saying. And really, I'll be honest with you. If I had never seen Black Panther, I might feel different. I might be like, all right, we'll pick somebody good at least. But after seeing what they did with Black Panther on purpose, nah, man, y'all could have done better with Storm. Y'all could have done Storm so much better. Like, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
Well, she's supposed to be appearing in Black Panther too. The character Storm is supposed to be making her first appearance.
Okay.
So you gonna have her next to all them African people and not gonna have her
thing when it comes to that. Hello?
No, I'm here. Go ahead.
Okay. No, here's my thing when it comes to that. Okay. First of all, I agree. Angela Bassett would have been a great Storm, but to me, the one that should have played Storm, and if they had made the movie 10 years earlier, I really would have been with it. Iman should have been the one to play Storm.
Yeah.
She had the height. She's actually from Africa.
Yep.
Okay.
Shit, I'd have took Grace Jones as long as you made her put on her wig. I'm just saying. Sorry, man. Didn't mean. Sorry.
Okay. I know I'm good because Mayday. Thank you. No, thanks, dude.
Oh my goodness.
I am Gucci on that, sir.
Oh hell no! He said Gucci.
I am Gucci on that. Hell to the no.
Hell to the no.
No, that's That's exactly my point, sir. Next. No, let me
Next,
stop.
no. All right, so next up on our list is kind of two subjects that kind of go together. Um, One being that Into the Spider-Verse and into the animated Into the Spider-Verse sequel is in the works already
Yes.
at Marvel Studios. But on top of that, they're actually in talks with Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland about doing a live-action Spider-Verse movie.
Yeah. Now they have been talking about that for a minute, and I would love to see. I would actually love to see Andrew Garfield, back in the role, because you know what? To me, they didn't really give him as Spider-Man a really serious fair shake. I mean, Tom Holland does play Spider-Man like Spider-Man would be at that age.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, the origin of is that Spider-Man was a high school student.
Yeah.
When he started off as Spider-Man, he was like in the 10th grade or something like that. But my whole thing is that I would love to see those two on the screen.
Yeah.
Hell, I would love for them to bring just even if it's for a fucking cameo. I would love for them to bring in Nicholas Hammond.
Who's Nicholas Hammond?
And for those out there that don't know who Nicholas Hammond is, Nicholas Hammond was the first guy to actually play Peter Parker's Spider-Man in a TV show back in 1977, The Amazing Spider-Man, which Marvel kindly disclaims. If you go on YouTube, you should be able to find the episode. It's called The Dragon's Challenge or The Chinese Web. It was the series finale, and it was really good because Spider-Man used the spider tracer and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a Spider-Man TV show. It ran for 2 seasons. J. Jonah Jameson. It was kind of like how the Incredible Hulk was.
Okay.
It took place in the real world. You know what I'm saying? No super villains or stuff like that. I think the closest Spider-Man ever got was to this episode called Night of the Clones, and which he fought a clone of himself. And the one thing I did like were the fight scenes and the sound effects for that shit, because it was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Spider-Man. There was a Captain America. Doctor Strange back in the 1970s. It was a 1978 movie that sucked, but you gotta pay homage to those actors that took those first brave steps,
right,
to star in shit that eventually either ended their career or or took on the other thing. And the thing about a quick Disney note, well, not even Disney, but he played one of the kids in the movie The Sound of Music with Julie Andrews. Oh. So he had already had some acting experience. But yeah, look for it, dude. Just look for Spider-Man. Just go to YouTube and go Spider-Man TV show 1977. Okay. They'll probably have his origin episode on YouTube, because it's on there, dude. That and Captain America. Oh my God! Oh, let's not even discuss that.
That tragedy.
I don't even know I brought that up. Dude, yeah, man. We are going to have to do an episode. We're definitely going to have to do an episode about the different various characters in movies and TV that have been played before their recent or their current iterations, because Doctor Strange, we've been waiting for that for years because we saw a crappy TV show. But I do gotta give it up to CBS, because CBS carried Wonder Woman, Captain America, Doctor Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk, and I mean, for years, but they had to get out of being it because back then it was only 3 networks and they didn't want to be known as the superhero channel. But alas, now you have the CW that is pretty much damn near the superhero channel.
Pretty much.
Shit, you might as well call it the comic book channel if you think about it.
No
yeah, because damn near every show is either based on a comic book or based in a story. Look at Riverdale. Look at Katie Keene. Look at Nancy Drew. Yep. You know, those were based on books. And Riverdale, you know, I told my friend of mine that, you know, hey, you know, Riverdale is based on
the Archie comic books.
The Archies.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
Yep.
Huh?
It's like a really sick twist, or not sick, but it's like a really odd version. Not really. It's like to me, it's always like it was like Scream Queens meets Dawson's Creek meets the Archie comics is what I've always saw Riverdale as.
Well, look, I started taking Archie comics a little more on the serious side after they did that crossover with the Punisher. Okay. So, you know, it is what it is, dude.
Hell yeah.
It is what
All
it
right,
is.
bro. So last subject we're going to talk about here is kind of a video game subject. Real quick before I received this X7 Plus thing as a gift, and let me say it is one of the best gifts I've received in a while. It's a little video game handheld thing. It looks like a small, like little Nintendo Switch or a PSP, or a PS Vita, and it has preloaded a bunch of games on it, like Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers, the original one, Fatal Fury, Street Fighter 2. Games like that for you to play on there, and it's quite the entertaining little thing. Like, it keeps me busy. Like, when I need to kill off a couple hours and don't really have anything to do, like, I can kill it. Like, I can have fun with it. I've been playing Contra and beating that game, and like, yeah, it's just something I wanted to mention. Like, got it. My friend got it for me off of Wish or off of Geek, one of those shows too. I think it was Wish, and it came in the mail in a few weeks.
And how many games are on it?
I'd say anywhere from 150 to like 300. They got Game Boy Advance games.
Okay, so were these like all like NES games or?
Yeah, they're like NES. There's some Neo Geo games on there, stuff like that. A couple of Sega games. I think there's a Sonic game on there, and it was $20.
Okay.
And I also played a game today called Cadillacs and Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, yes.
Yeah,
that's an old school arcade game, dude. I was trying to get my hands on that. Because I have one of those. I have one of those too, but this one carries most of the games from the different systems. And Cadillacs and Dinosaurs was one of those, you know, like Streets of Rage type games, side scrollers. Yeah. So it's like, you know, it's good. You know, I got to get that game too. I need to get Streets of Rage 4.
But I say all that to bring it around to, I was going to say our last review here will be a review of what are your thoughts on, I'll let you go first on this, on the new Final Fantasy VII Remake. I've only played about an hour or two of it. I haven't really dug that much into it. Like I said, I have too many games and not enough time to play. Surprisingly, you would think that's not the case considering I only work 12 hours a week. So you think I'd have all the time to play all the games, but I don't. But I've only played about an hour of it. So I was wondering, you know, how far have you played into it, and what are your thoughts on it?
I have not gotten a chance to really crack into it like I want to, but I'm really going to. But my thoughts on it so far is, you know, compared to the original, it's to me, with it being a remake, it's also, I would dare to say, somewhat of a reimagining.
Right.
Especially considering this is only part 1.
Right.
So, so far, from what I have, you know, encountered with, I do like the play system because, you know, I'm still, you know, when it comes to RPGs and so forth, you know, I'm still Mr. Turn-based. You know what I'm saying? And you know, still having a couple of seconds to figure out like how I'm going to take this sumbitch down because, you know, I'm running out of, I'm running out of options. Not a
Yeah.
lot of magic left and no summons. You know what I mean? But I I feel that, like I said, from what I've seen, that it's definitely going to be a different experience. I think that graphically, it is very, very well done. I would definitely give it a just based on from what I've gotten into, I would definitely give it a 9.8
Yeah.
on the scale, because I mean it's not just because it's Final Fantasy, but it's the Final Fantasy. And for those out there that don't know, this game has been talked about getting remade hard and heavy for the last generation
Yep. And
of gaming consoles.
And for those of you gamers wondering, you can get the original 8-bit or 16-bit version of the game. The
Well,
four gigabytes.
I think that's 32.
What?
I think it's 32.
Is it 32-bit?
The original, yeah, I think it's 32.
Well, you can get the original version in the PlayStation Store for like $7, like the whole game. It's only 4 gigabytes. So, like, if you want to experience the actual original game that all of this is based off of without actually playing the new game and seeing what all the differences is, you can experience what it's like to fall in love with, what was her name? Arya?
Yes.
Fall in love with her only to watch her. Well, I'll let you play the game and find out.
No. Yeah, dude. Watch it. Spoilers.
I think her fate is the one thing that will be changed in the new game. I have this weird feeling. I just have this weird feeling. But anyway, yeah. So I think it's a pretty good game. I enjoy playing it. In the coming weeks, guys, we're hoping to get Alpha back. We're probably gonna have Saint on for a couple more weeks. But the great thing about it is that, man, I'm just looking forward to so many different games, and then getting Alpha back in here to talk about the second installment, the second season of Avatar, and just how much that show means to all of us, which will probably be what our big show will be when Alpha comes back. It's talking about season 2 and season 3 of whatchamacallit.
The original Avatar.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that show to me, that show did very well. That actually is what drew me back to Nickelodeon. Was that show?
Oh yeah.
That was one that that people, or adults like myself could actually enjoy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it's yeah. It teaches you things. Like it teaches you many things, and then there's so many great little bits in the show that just sit right with me. Like I was watching it with my friend the other day, and I was pointing out to her like it was one of the episodes in season 2 when they're headed to Ba Sing Se, and they go to that underground place where they let people into Ba Sing Se, and it's just like you see humility. You deal with things about rich versus poor, class issues. You know what I'm saying? The show dealt with so many subtle things. But there was a scene. Getting back to what I was really bringing that up for. There was a scene where the guy, and if you've ever watched Avatar, you remember him. The guy with the damn lettuce cart or cabbage cart. The dude with the damn cabbage cart. At least once an episode, or every couple of episodes, there is always happens to his damn cabbage cart. It gets pushed off a cliff. It gets destroyed. It gets sat on. Like, eaten. Something is constantly happening to his cabbage cart. But it's a running joke throughout the entire thing that you don't really piece together till after you've seen. It's like, wait a minute, that dude was in the, wait a minute, okay. Oh, wait, damn, this poor dude. This dude just can't catch a fucking break when it comes to his cabbage cart. Like, and you really do begin to feel sorry for the dude, but it's just little things in the way everything was written, from the relationship between Iroh and Grandpa, or not Iroh, but Iroh and Zuko, to the relationship between Zuko and Avatar. By the time you get to that final couple of episodes, it's just such an amazing ride. And so, yeah, we'll discuss more about that when Alpha gets back. But for right now, I pretty much think that wraps us up. Um,
Yeah, man. It's nice to, to break away from from the monotony of NVT Deuce
doing
to
music
do
all the
this.
time,
And
yeah.
yeah, man, I'm getting back into the talk realm, but man, this is just, this is awesome, dude.
This is a comfort zone right here.
Yeah, it's a comfort zone, man. I could just actually kick back and, and just be, be,
You.
be Kahari.
Yep.
Not the saint. So, but
Pardon the pun. This is your
it's always a
opportunity to
pleasure,
geek
man.
out. Yeah, I say pardon the pun, but this is your opportunity to geek out. Um,
Yeah.
that's one thing I love about this show too. Is it's my opportunity weekly to geek out. But all right. So with that being said, y'all join us soon. Saint, I believe you're going on in about a half hour.
No, I'm actually going on in about 90 minutes.
All right. So in about
I
90
still got to
minutes.
I'm doing, I'm just doing a little, a little something.
Yeah, so be sure to listen to Saint here in about 90 minutes. Tune back in as well for the episodes of Brick. Was there an episode of Brick today? If not, check out our episode.
I believe so, and of course the Midnight Run is
Midnight
also
Run
back
tonight,
too.
yeah.
So.
Tomorrow night we got Dirty Talk 101. Tuesdays we don't really have nothing going on nowadays. Wednesdays belong to Kelly Kell with Kings and Queens of Porn and Lip Gloss and Mikes. Thursdays belong to Toy. Fridays bring you right back to Mr. Double K myself, which will be doing another episode. I've decided to do best live rock performances is going to be my theme for this. So I'm going to be exploring the greats like Queen, the Rolling Stones, Metallica, Aerosmith, but it's all going to be live performances of some of their songs.
Okay, right on.
So yeah, that's going to be the show this week for KD5P, and then of course you got the indelible Mr. Deacon's Experience every Saturday, and that brings you right back here to us with Brick, Inspire Radio, Cheap Pop Podcast. West Coast Bias won't be back until probably the 19th or the 26th. So. But West Coast Bias is on that Sunday 3 o'clock slot, and then you got Cheap Pop, and then back around to the man himself, the Saint with MBT Deuce.
Absolutely.
So keep joining us here, guys. We love entertaining you, and like I keep telling you at the end of every episode, keep on hanging on because there's some big information coming in the next couple of months. We'll see y'all later. Any last words for him, Saint?
Hey, just keep on doing. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Keep yourself safe.
For sure. Peace.